Okay.
One, two. All right. Okay, welcome back to another episode of Stream of Consciousness. I didn't do middle names. Oh, give me a second here. All right, let's go back. I'm gonna start from the beginning. Okay. And give me do that. Bug. Welcome back to Stream of Consciousness. I am Joey Thundering Unicorn Stout, and this is Joel Swim Shoes Cox. And what are we even talking about today? Do we have any subject? Because we think we had a couple ideas.
We're going to talk about online shopping.
Online shopping, yeah. Because you got
I had a little adventure.
Point in case you got a new microphone in.
Yeah.
So go ahead, you tell.
So I got my Prime ran out for the year because it usually runs at this time of year.
Okay.
And I paid for it on Friday. And Amazon, because I have my bank card, whenever I spend a certain amount, it will automatically go, hey, this money's been spent. So I hit Prime, they charge me. I'm like, okay. Wanted to buy the stuff on Prime, tried to charge me $30 to ship that microphone. But that's not right.
$30 just for shipping.
Yeah.
What?
So I call Amazon.
And they're like, your Prime's out.
I'm like, yeah, but I just paid for it. And you guys took my money already.
Right.
He's like, oh, it'll take a couple hours. I'm like, it'll take a couple hours. So it took like 2 hours.
It's already out of my bank account. How does it take a couple hours?
Exactly. So we got it. So then I put this in the cart, and I put another device in the cart in the project I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed, January 15th. Okay, cool. Get the email, everything's all good. No problem. Wake up this morning, I get an email from the post office. Because I've been set up that anytime I get a package, it lets me know packages come to my house.
Okay.
He goes, expected delivery, January 17th. What? So I checked all the information.
Today's not the 17th.
No.
What is today? 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I check it. Well, it's recorded the 15th. Well, probably...
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't say the dates in the show.
We'll take that part out.
We'll just clip that
Edit.
out. Welcome back to Stream of Consciousness.
Anyway, so it's supposed to show up today. It said it'd be here in 2 days.
Okay.
I'm like, that's not cool. So I did all the tracking information. Got to the place 4 o'clock in the morning. It got scanned at 8 o'clock this morning. My mail usually comes around 9, 10 o'clock on Sunday, whenever... Yeah,
Okay.
we record on Sundays, just so you know. So, on Sundays around 8, 9 o'clock...
Welcome back to Stream of Consciousness. No, go ahead. Tell your story.
So, mail's supposed to get here around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, that means it's not getting here. So I'm pissed off. I call Amazon again. Oh, I don't know. Da, 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 da.
Waging war against Amazon.
This went through Facebook. This fulfillment by Amazon. We don't know. I'm like, it said guaranteed by the 15th. My mail's usually here in the next hour. What's gonna happen? Well, I don't know, sir. Him hod. I'm like, fine. I'll wait till it doesn't get here, and I'm gonna write a nasty email, and I'll be very upset. So
You've already planned out your anger. You were ready to go. You were primed on anger. You were Amazon primed on anger.
I'm starting to like lose faith in Amazon. I'm like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna wait for this not to get here. I'm gonna write the letter. 24 minutes before you show up, I get a text message on my watch saying, "Hey, your packages are here."
All right.
I'm like, what?
Amazon Prime delivered.
Yeah. So.
Moral of the story is, don't judge.
Yeah.
You never
But
know.
I think about this. About 20 years ago, eBay was the big thing.
Yes.
Amazon didn't even exist yet. And I was constantly buying stuff off eBay. I don't know if you remember that or not in college.
Yeah, I remember that in college.
I used to buy a bunch of crap, and I used to sell a bunch of crap on Amazon, on eBay. And it was a lot of fun. So, I'm looking, I'm like, back then, they'd be able to track my package to when it shows up at my door within 10 minutes.
Because that was unheard of.
Yeah.
You were lucky you knew which day it was coming.
Like nowadays with FedEx or UPS, they'll tell you 20 minutes after they drop it off.
Right.
But the post office here, the second they drop it off, I get a text message.
Because they have a scan,
Yeah.
like with that, it immediately sends all that information back through, and everything is just electronic now that it's down to literally almost to the minute.
Yeah.
And probably is to the minute even. That dude probably went boop boop, put it on your, and then you got that and it said that it was, or maybe it takes a minute for it to upload or whatever.
I still feel like it could be better, but my thing is
better than 20 minutes to the minute.
Well, I should be able to know where the truck is.
Right. You're gonna follow him around, honking behind him. Where's my mic? Where's my microphone? Pull over.
I want to be able to I look on my computer, I have a little dot that's moving on the map. Know where the
the
guy
GPS,
is.
the UPS guy.
Yes.
That's funny.
Just a truck, not him.
That's still stalking.
I suppose.
I mean, especially if your ex-girlfriend works for UPS, that's probably why you can't do
Oh,
that.
have you seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World? Or no, wait.
Yeah, back in 2007 or something, I think I did.
So I don't know if you remember that movie or not, but like he wanted to meet that Ramona Flowers, so he actually orders the package and he sits there waiting patiently for the package to get there.
No, I don't remember that part. That's funny though.
Well, it's a scene in the movie. He orders it online and he just sits at the door waiting. So we're like, it's not gonna get here, and then click, it comes. He's like, hey, and she just started to. Like, are you gonna sign your package? I want to go on a date with you. And basically, he like extorts her, like, I'm not signed to you. Agree to go on a date with me. I just want my
That's
package.
fun. Yeah, you don't want to date with the UPS guy.
No.
I've seen your UPS guy. He's not date worthy. No, but it's kind of crazy how like how it and really as far as just shopping online and stuff, like I do pretty much all of my Christmas shopping now
So do
online.
I.
Like I like getting out of the house. I don't care if you can get groceries delivered to your door. I heard
Yeah.
you can do that. I'm not doing that. I want to go to the store. I want to pick out my own stuff. I want to make sure that I'm getting, the cans that are not dented or whatever. Like I just feel better and more comfortable knowing that I'm the one in charge of that. I don't trust other people to pick out. There's 75 different types of bread. I don't want you choosing the one that's best for me. I want to go do those things myself. And I like getting out of the house. It gives me an excuse to go do something, especially with the kids and stuff. Like I can go, I'm leaving and leave them at home and just get my time away from them, or I can go, okay guys, let's go to the store and get them out of the house to get them kind of away from that cabin fever and stuff. But as far as like Christmas shopping and like birthday shopping, and I use Amazon. I don't have Prime because I don't shop often enough to justify it.
See, I've been Prime since 2011 because I did a couple Christmases without Amazon, and I realized that's stupid.
It's unbelievable how, I mean, you always find like great deals with it too.
Yeah.
Like I shop around, I look around, and it's always better to buy it online, or almost always better to buy it online. I have a love-hate relationship with that though, because I'm one of those people that I hate when you go to the grocery store and you go through the self-checkout thing. I hate that. I think that's the worst thing ever. It gets you in and out quicker, but there used to be a person there. Like somebody had a job, and their job was to go boop and put it in a bag, and now that person doesn't have a job anymore because I don't want to wait in line.
Because there's a guy who's staying by the main
There's
thing.
one guy monitoring 6 of those as
Exactly.
opposed to 6 people.
Which means the other people are doing stocking, and they're doing other stuff around the store.
Yeah, but they always had those guys. They
yeah,
didn't
but
go
the thing
anywhere.
is though, when I used to work at Ames,
Okay.
and we had all those cashiers. I don't know why they put in 20 aisles of
Right,
cashiers.
when you only have 5
and
cashiers.
there's 5 cashiers. And I remember all the times like, oh, you're in toys today. So you're working in toys, you hear the call, all hands to the cashier, all hands to the cashier. And I'm just going to run to the cashiers, get everybody out.
Did you actually run to the cashier?
Yeah.
You actually probably did.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, oh, Joel's going to beat us up there. He's going to make us look bad.
But like, I hated that because it's like, there's all these aisles. Why do you have all these aisles?
I never understood that. That to me doesn't make any sense.
But now, Amazon's doing their thing with their customer, with their, what's it called?
We're still good.
Their employees.
Okay.
Where you can, if you sign up for it, you can walk on your smartphone. You walk in, you just pick stuff up and put in your bag and walk out, and it charges you.
That I've seen this before, and that just seems dangerous to me. Like if I were the owner of any store, I don't care if it's like a Walgreens, a Walmart, any mart, I don't care if it's a mom and pop store. The idea that somebody could walk in, grab stuff, and walk right out the door, and it's like, okay, it's paid for, is kind of intimidating because at what point do you go, hey, you got to stop and pay for that? Because you can't just accuse people of it.
Well, here's the thing. The way it works is it uses cameras and it uses scanners and all this. There's all this stuff that it uses. So it's not just like honor system. There's actually a bunch of computing power behind this.
Well, and the people who have that can do that, but
Yeah.
like, what's to stop me from walking in, filling up a basket, and walking out the door and going, haha, I got free groceries.
Well, you get a red flag and they take a picture of your face and go, hey, put all the stuff in the bag. Like they got you on video saying you
They
stole
get
this
people
crap.
on video all the time for that. You always see some camera of they're looking for whatever suspect who did this or did what. People go in and rob liquor stores and gas stations with a gun, and their face is right on camera, and they never find that guy.
Well, they find those guys.
They find some of them, but not all of them. They're certainly not tracking down my ass for stealing a can of cream corn. Like, that's not gonna
Well,
happen.
supposedly, I forget who it was. There is, I think it's like in some Asian country, where they got like these paintballs that like, if you say you rob a bank or something, and
Mhm.
the cops see you, they don't chase the car. They shoot you with these paintballs, and you can't get this paint off. Like this paint is impossible to get off.
What?
So basically, they don't bother chasing you down.
They just humiliate you. You
No,
have to
they-
walk around with like a scarlet letter paintball
Well, they've
on
got
the back of your
you
nose.
shot the paintballs, so they know it's you. So like you can't just ditch the car.
Right. That's funny. Well, if you steal the car, I
Yeah.
steal your car, I go rob.
But I'm thinking, shoot the guys.
Walmart.
Shoot the guys with the paintball.
That's what I was thinking. I thought you were saying like,
Well, they shoot the cars. That's how they chase the cars down. I'm thinking a step further. On the way out, you get shot with this paintball. They think you stole anything.
yeah, but how bad is it if somebody shoots your car with a paintball and then it like by accident? Like, what if I'm pulling out as the other guy's going through? What if Jason Statham is the one robbing this bank and I happen to be going through and they hit my car instead of his car and now I'm all upset because they just paintballed my car?
I'm sure there's an antidote. There's always an antidote.
There's always an antidote. Yeah, a new paint job for my car.
Well, they'll pay for it.
No, hopefully. I'm not paying for it. Don't paintball my car. But it's funny how they do. They have technology and everything has just
Yeah.
evolved so much that it
You're-
is. It
You
used
probably
to
saw
be.
that commercial back in the day. I forget who the. I think it was IBM did all these series commercials with the future.
Mhm.
Like they did one for Easy Pass. The guy just flew through the pay stall, and like he got a bill later. And there's one guy. He looks like he's a thief. He's got a trench coat on. He walks in, puts all the stuff in his
I did see
pockets.
these ones. I saw
He
that,
goes to
yeah.
walk out the door. Guy goes, "Excuse me, sir." He looks at him all pissed off. He goes, "You forgot your receipt." But yeah, we're living the future now.
But some of it just intimidates me. Like, I'm not afraid of change. I'm not afraid of technology.
Yeah.
Although I am the guy who's completely unsavvy when it comes to technology, and that's just not. It's not my mentality. I will be that old guy who's going. I don't understand these newfangled phones, and I'll be that guy that doesn't want to buy the newest whatever. But it's kind of a lot of it is overwhelming just because. It like I said, like the whole opportunity for it to be misused.
Yeah.
And whenever you get into that, and I'm thinking more along the lines of like the business owners, and really like you don't see a lot of mom and pop stores. There's no such thing as the corner store anymore. You very, very seldom see.
I think it
any
depends
kind
on the area.
It does to a degree, but like so wealthier neighborhoods, you're more likely to see it. Whenever you go into like those richer neighborhoods, those people do own corner stores, and the people that live in that community will shop specifically at that corner store.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I grew up in a poorer neighborhood, and we had Schubert's up the street. My mom still calls it Jimbo's, or not Jimbo's, Doozers. She called it, every store on the planet is Doozers. My mom's Doozers go to Doozers hasn't been around for 37 years. My mom's still, I need to go to Doozers. I'm like, Mom, it's called Walmart now. But so we would go to Doozers and get whatever, you get your bread, you get your milk, you get your whatever. That's not there anymore. You don't see those corner stores. Every neighborhood had a corner store. They're not there anymore. There's no such thing as a corner store anymore. Everybody who needs anything has to get in the car, drive 5, 10 miles, wherever far it is, to your grocery store, your local Walmart's the big one. It's kind of everywhere, but there's still like the big grocery stores that aren't maybe quite as large a chain as Walmart. Nothing's as large a chain as Walmart, but there's still a lot of that. But the smaller, the odds of somebody opening up like if you and I decide to open up our own business, we're not going to open a corner store. We might get away with a pizza shop at best, but even those are starting to kind of whittle away. You're seeing a lot less small businesses now.
I really don't think so. I think some of the businesses where like there's very small margins, you don't see that. I see more of the thing of you get like the boutique experience or the unique experience. Like you can get a piece of pizza, you can get a hamburger anywhere, but if you go to certain places, you want that hamburger because of the way the service is done.
Right. No, there's definitely a lot of restaurants are a little bit of a different thing
Yeah.
because you do still see some smaller restaurants, and they're always the better food.
Yeah.
But I read something somewhere they were talking about people who go to if they have the choice between some place they don't know the name of and they're told the food is excellent versus going to like an Olive Garden or an Applebee's or something they know. People are more likely to go with the place they know because they know it.
Yeah.
Even if they're like, I don't love the food there. If you're out of town, you're on vacation, you're more likely to go to a place that you know the name of than you are to go to Mike and Dave's Corner Bistro.
See, the people I know, a lot of people I know actually are more like, well, where do we get this on a chain? Because like I can get this anywhere. I
Well,
want
there's still
something.
people out there, but they did a study where they showed they asked several
Mm.
people. I think they did it somewhere that was like Myrtle Beach or some
Mm.
kind of like somewhere like somewhat vacation spot, and stopped and asked people of all different ages and men and women both, and said, are you more likely to go to this place? And they said there's this place, and they've made up the name of some restaurant. It wasn't like a legit restaurant. They said this place and the food is fantastic. They're rated, on Yelp at whatever, 5 stars or whatever on Yelp. Versus, and then they said the name of like a TGIF or something, Applebee's or Olive
Mm.
Garden or whatever it was. And they said, which one were you more likely to go? Giving the big chain a lower rating, and people were more likely to choose that lower rating one because they knew the name of it.
Mm.
And it's just a mentality thing. It's just
Yeah.
people that
There's,
don't.
there's a book I read called Snow Crash. It's a sci-fi book.
Snow Crash?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about Neil Stevenson, and he basically kind of predicted the future, like 20 years ago, like some of the stuff that happens. But one of the things they talk about is a three-ring reminder for these businesses,
Okay.
and how like you got Joe Blow, the business traveler. He's like, well, I need a shower and a shave. Well, if I go to Hojo's, I know Hojo's will do it this way, and like you're thinking.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that study has probably been done before in the past.
I bet it has.
But like, I don't know. I know a lot of people want to try new things. I myself, I
We're in and this is like we talked about this before about how whenever I go into a restaurant,
Yeah.
what do I always ask, what's your favorite thing on the menu?
Yeah.
I ask the server, what do they like? I always try something new. I try something different.
Mm-hmm.
I could go in and go, I want a cheeseburger. You can't go wrong with a cheeseburger. I can get
Yeah.
that every single time. But I'm maybe more adventurous, I guess, that way.
So here's my
But most
question.
people aren't. Most people go in and go, oh, that sounds really good.
Mhm.
But I know I like the cheeseburger, so they order the cheeseburger.
So let me ask you this then, because I've noticed this happens a lot. Like when I at my work, Wednesdays, every Wednesday through July through September, they had food truck day,
Okay.
and they'd bring down 3 or 4 different food trucks, and during lunch you get something different.
All right.
So I noticed a lot of these food trucks, whenever they make stuff, they always throw their spin on things.
Okay.
Like, I want a taco. But this place makes fish tacos and they use a special signature sauce. And there's a lot of restaurants do that nowadays. And like we went out for I think,
I think somebody's breaking into your place.
well, nice knowing you guys.
Call 911. If there's no episode 7, please report to the police.
Or whatever episode this is gonna be. 'Cause-
Right. Welcome back to Stream of Consciousness. I'm Joe.
But as I was saying, I think it's weird that a lot of places will like have their only their way, and then if you look at the fine print, no substitutions. Like, I don't know if you've been to Burgatory.
Yeah,
But Burgatory has.
we've been to Purgatory together.
That's right. I can't. It's been so many different places.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it's as much as you
But
go.
you know the menu, like they have this giant menu of everything you can order, but you
Right.
can't change anything on that menu. There's no substitutions. And then they have their little.
Really? I
Yeah.
never noticed that.
Yeah, but then they have a little.
That's cool.
They have a create your own burger where you
Which
can fill
is-
out everything out, which is what I always do.
Right.
But like I noticed how like a lot of restaurants have this. Oh, here's what you can order. We've got 5 types of pizzas, and it's the only pizzas we make. You can't have any changes whatsoever.
I've seen that a little bit, but you don't. I mean, most places
It's
are
not usually-
more
it's-
lenient with it, and I think a lot of that is because I worked in a restaurant for 12 years, so like I understand. We always did substitutions, but that was
Yeah.
something I never worked in a place where you weren't allowed to do substitutions. The only things on the menu that you couldn't substitute were things that were pre-made.
Yeah.
Like the nachos that we had at one point in time. Everything that went on top of that nacho was all preset. All they do was throw chips, throw all this, the whatever, the corn salsa, because people always wanted it without corn. You can't. That's part of the mix. And then they throw cheese on top. So it was a little bit of a different thing there. But a lot of restaurants will say, at least from what I understand, they'll say no substitutions. But if you go, hey, can I get this without cheese or without the bacon or without the whatever? I don't know who would want to take bacon off of something, but
Yeah.
let's say there's a lunatic out there that wants that. They will do it, but the reason they put that on the menu, no substitutions, is to minimize that.
Mhm.
Because the guys in the kitchen, they want to keep that food moving.
Yeah.
That's how they make their money. And when somebody comes in and sits down in a restaurant, when I first started waiting tables back in 2001, people would come in, they'd go, I want this, I want that, whatever. They'd order their food, they'd eat their food, they'd walk out the door. And I read something when I was still at the restaurant, there was
You do a
an
lot of
article
reading.
done. I do. Well, no, I probably saw a video or something, or I might have made it up even. Somebody probably told me about something they read, and I say I read it. But there was this guy who he owned a restaurant, and he said how people were complaining about wait times and such in his restaurant. So he hired somebody to come in, and they watched the video because he had cameras in the restaurant, and they compared the videos of, this is probably 5-6 years ago, to those of like 10 years prior. And what they saw was people would come in, they'd sit down, they'd open up the menu, they'd go, I'd like blah, 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 blah. The food would come out, they'd eat their food, they'd pay their bill, they'd go home or to their movie or wherever they were going. Nowadays, people come in, they take out their phone, they start texting, they look at then they have to get a selfie, and then they have to they have to check in on Foursquare, and then they pick up their menu. They've already been there for 5-10 minutes before they even look at the menu. They go through the whole thing a couple times. What are you getting? What are you getting? What are you getting? What are you getting? Oh, I don't know. And then they read through. Then they put down the menu, text some more, or whatever they do. Then they come back. The server's already been to their table 3-4 times before they even make a decision. Mm-hmm. Their food comes out. First thing they do, got to get us a picture of your food to put on Instagram. Mm. And they went through, and it was like every step along the way went from open the menu and read it to all of these steps to get to the point where they order their food. Then all the steps before they even start to eat their food. And then when they're done, everybody kicks back and relaxes, starts talking to each other, and again. But it's all technology based. Mm. Like since the evolution of the phone, and all of the apps that go into the phone and all the things we can do, we're carrying around our computers literally in our pockets now. People have become addicted to their phones and are unconsciously wasting their life away in their own technology. What used to be a half-hour sit down to eat a sandwich is now become an hour long. And this guy kind of went into a little more detail than that.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I've actually read that article.
Did you? See, I didn't make it up.
No, you didn't.
Maybe you told me about it and I pretended I heard it.
But actually, here's my mentality at a restaurant. Because usually I like to wash my hands because I don't want to eat. I know what my hands have been into. Usually it's like I've been doing something outside or I messed with some chemicals or stuff because I've been doing some soldering. Whatever it is, I don't want to eat what I've been dealing with.
Right.
So first thing I do, I sit down, order my drink. I know what I want because, as you know, most restaurants I go to, I have my default. I wait for the waiters to come by, I give them my default, I run to the bathroom, I come back.
You order your cheeseburger.
And then I sit there and play on my phone. But you know what? I do notice a lot of people that I go out with sometimes, they'll sit there, what do you want? What are you getting?
I think that's always been a thing. Like, people have always kind of gone, what are you going to get? Because they want to, we need to feel justified in what we order. And
maybe you.
Well,
I know what I want.
You know what you want. The burger's never bad, though. But that's the whole, and really the interaction amongst people has kind of dissolved a lot too. Like
the other thing I noticed though, I probably told the story 1,000 times off the podcast, but as you know, back in the day, I loved going to the movies and getting a group of people to go to see a movie.
Yes. Yeah.
So the last time I did it was Indiana Jones and Crystal Skull.
Wow. Okay.
The last time I got a group together that I planned.
Was I there for that? Because I saw that movie.
You weren't. You actually weren't there for that one. You were off doing something. But I got a bunch of people together. I'm like, hey, I want to see this movie. You got like 8 people together. Nobody could decide where they wanted to eat, and nobody wanted to eat where I wanted to eat. So I said, screw it. I'm going to Red Robin. Sat down. I got in out of Red Robin in like 20 minutes by myself.
Yeah.
And I was amazed how fast the food came, how fast the service was.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell?
90% of the time when people are complaining about how long service takes in a restaurant, and this is from personal experience, this is not something I've read, this is from me watching, I've had, honest to God, I've had people say, we've been here for an hour and we still haven't got our food. You ordered your food 10 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, there's just 17 of you at this giant table and you're complaining that it's been 70. You sat here for how long before you even ordered? But that's a lot of what it is people who feel like it takes longer, and they go, I checked when I first sat down, I looked at the...
Well, the Houlihan's by my work, they have a lunch special that they'll get you in and out in like half an hour. But the second you sit down, I think the second they make the order is what it is.
Yeah.
They'll start the timer.
Right, and that's the way it should be.
Exactly.
Because like I said, and what happened when I was waiting tables, what I would do a lot of times, if I had a bigger group or if I knew the kitchen was running a little bit slow and I had a group that seemed like they were impatient but then took forever to order, because I always wrote down the orders because I can't memorize crap. I would write down the whole order, and after I was done, I would jot down the time because I keep my watch. I always wear my watch on the inside, and I started doing that for various reasons. But after I'd write down the order, the time's already facing me, so I'd write down, okay, it's 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever time it was, and if I felt like, because you kind of get this after you do that job for so long, you get to read people. If I had this suspicion that people were going to then be upset or complain, or whether if they seem like that type, if they had that haircut that I want to speak to the manager haircut, I would say, okay, well, it's now 10 after 3. I'll do my best to make sure that we get that up. And I would say the time to them so that way they would go, oh, it's only been, and whenever the food came out at 20 after 3, 10 minutes. You heard me say what time it was before I put it in. You heard me say it. And that way people, and it stopped the mentality of, we've been sitting here forever.
Yeah.
You have been sitting here forever. However, you didn't give me your order until XYZ time. And I tried to get ahead of that, and I did that quite a bit, actually.
My thing
and
was,
it helped a lot.
I think one of my favorite restaurant experience. My buddy Scott and I went to go to Smoky Bones.
Okay.
I felt like I was in a NASCAR race. Because we're walking in, the girl gets her order. We sit down. She comes with the drink. She gets her appetizer. Comes back, gets her order. We are in and out in half an hour. The two of us.
Restaurants a lot of times work like a pit crew. Like they are. They want you in and out as quick as they can because they're working off tips. So a lot of times, and I think people have this mentality of either tipping so much, and I don't want to go on my little soapbox here, but I've talked to people, and actually one of the guys I work with, him and I just kind of really had this long out debate as to how you should and shouldn't tip and what percentages and stuff like that. Assuming you get adequate or good service, you should be tipping at least 15%. Now, there are certain variables that come into it. If you sit at a table for an hour, that's a long time to be at a table. If you and I go out to eat and we sit at a table for an hour, do we only owe them 15% of our meal? What if we both get like a glass of water and a side salad? Are they only entitled to 15% of that tiny little check? No. We sat there for how long? There should be a minimum that you should tip, and then you should tip according to how long you've been there or how much of a pain in the butt you were.
Yeah.
If you order milkshakes and you have to, this and that, and you need all the specials and what have you. I'm not saying you don't want tomato on your burger or something like that. That's a different thing. That's a whole other. That takes half a second.
I usually take 20%.
And I'm a very big tipper, but that's because I worked in a restaurant. I don't expect
I got
tip
a
the way I tip.
great Texas Roadhouse story.
All right.
So
I haven't been to Texas Roadhouse in forever.
So there's a new one that opened up by us.
Okay.
I won't mention where it is because they actually fixed it.
Okay.
But
this is a complaining story. Go ahead.
So 2 months ago, we went out. We didn't know it was there. I'm like, okay, let's go to Texas Roadhouse. Went down there. I ordered the buffalo chicken bites.
Okay.
Got them. Great. So then last month, we went down. I'm like, oh, I don't want dinner, but I'll get the buffalo buffalo bites, the boneless buffalo bites. So I order them, and everyone gets their food. They bring out chicken tenders. They're like small. They're like really small chicken tenders.
Right.
And there's a side of sauce. It's not the sauce I asked for.
Okay.
So I was like, these are supposed to be boneless buffalo. The guy goes, well, the sauce comes on the side. I'm like, but they're tossed in the sauce. No, so we don't do that here. So I look at Tara. Tara looks at me like, it's on the menu.
Right.
So I grab the menu. I open the menu. I read. It says,
tossed in sauce.
So, sir, does that mean your menu's wrong? He goes, yeah, the menu's wrong. I'm like, no, it's not. I got here last month. Was it this place? Yes, it was this restaurant. So then our friend Kristen went and talked to somebody, found a manager, talked to the manager, he goes, we do that. I don't know why they told you we didn't do that here.
Because dude made a mistake and then tried to cover for himself.
But then, I show you the menu.
Right.
And you're like, no, we don't do that here.
It's amazing how you can't just go, oh, oops, my bad. But pick up the plate, take it back, or just go. Even if legitimately, if they didn't do that, what's the harm in going? Oh, let me do it that way for you. Take it back and go. Hey, this dude wants this tossed in the sauce. There's no harm in that. You work off tips. You might want to please the people who you.
I was the one where I didn't even want them. Like, I don't want this. I don't want it all. Just take it back. I don't want it. The manager's like, no, we want free. I'm like, you don't understand. But my thing is this: I worked in the help desk. You never tell somebody they're wrong.
Right.
You always make it your fault, and you always take care of it.
Right.
I had teachers that would spill coffee, soup, 7-Up, Dr. Pepper on their computers. Like, no, it's like, it happens all the time. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I will kill you.
I remember there. This is my favorite. Is whenever working in the restaurant, people would go, "You're gonna think this is really weird," and then they would ask for like some really outrageous thing, and I go, "No, it's not weird at all." But like it always was. It was always like the most like this is. You're gonna think this is weird, but I like to dip my French fries in mustard. And I'm like, no, that's strange. People don't do that.
I do that. That
You
is not
do
strange.
not do that. You
Yes, I do.
I just made that up. I was like, what's the stupidest thing that somebody could do? Just dip their fries in mustard. You do that?
Yes.
Okay, well then you're the wacko. Next time you order, go. You're gonna think this is crazy. You're gonna think I'm weird, but
What I do sometimes.
I need you to take a crap on the table before I eat. I like the ambiance. Like and you watch and your server will go, no, that's not. People do that all the time. Mustard, absolutely. People love it. You seriously? You know what? My older brother does that, and I was like, he's the only other person I've ever met.
What I
who
do
does that.
sometimes when I make fries at home, I'll take, because I have those little cups, they're like 2-ounce cups.
All right.
They're for like putting like condiments in.
Yeah.
So I get the cup, I'll pour half ketchup, half mustard, so they're in the middle.
Okay.
And I'll do a half dip, where half it's in ketchup, half it's in mustard.
You don't mix them together though.
No,
like
no.
it's one's ketchup, one's okay.
Well, no, it's in the same cup, but it's half and half.
All right, but it's not mixed.
No.
It's not like it's not a unique new sauce.
No.
You're not adding mustard into
No.
because like that I can understand. If you were like, I want
Because
to
sometimes,
put honey mustard.
sometimes when I get a
Dijon.
burger, I'll throw the ketchup mustard on the burger. This is how I started doing it. It would leak out of the burger.
And
I'm like,
start
you know,
dipping your fries in it.
so I use the fry to like clean off the burger. I'm like, hey, this is pretty damn good.
I will say this though, because speaking of weird things like that, I have an uncle, married into the family obviously, and he is he's Swiss, and we went out years and years ago. They live out in Philadelphia, so I drove out to Philadelphia and we had dinner with my aunt and uncle, and my uncle got a side of mayonnaise and started dipping his fries in mayonnaise,
That's a French thing.
and I was like, okay,
Pulp Fiction?
Royale with cheese.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he does that, and I never saw that before. I've never seen anybody dip their French fries in mayonnaise, and I was like, "What a whack job!"
How do
So
you
I
feel
called him
about
out
ranch?
on it. Ranch is fine. Ranch is okay. You can dip it in ranch.
Okay.
So I kind of called him out. I'm like, "What are you doing over there?" And he said, "Try it." And I went, "All right." And I dipped my fry in the mayonnaise, and I went, "That's pretty damn good. That's really good."
Like the Harvey Wallbanger.
I don't do it all the time. Yeah, like the Harvey Wallbanger. That's if you don't watch our show, you don't get that reference, and if you don't watch our show, screw you. Speaking of watching our show, I'd like to thank all the viewers that we've had. We are running out of time.
Yes.
We ran out of time. So thank all the viewers. Be sure to like and subscribe to our show, and all the links and the whatever the crap Joel
We have a
puts
Facebook
in
page, we have a
here.
YouTube page, we got a website. You can get us on iTunes, you can get us on Google Play, and Play FM.
Do we have a
We're
Twitter
on-
account?
Huh?
We have a Twitter account.
Actually, we should do that.
We're gonna have a Twitter account.
Yeah.
So twat us. Can you say that?
Tweet.
Tweetify us. Tweeted Twitter us. Twiddle.
Let's see how far I'll go with this.
I can twiddle myself. Not on camera.
No,
Well, I mean, I could, but
not on here. I'll edit that out.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.